Testing. 1, 2, 3, test. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, test. Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3, test, test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, all right. Jehovah, please. A video, I ask for ability to talk about these things, to help to do my part to spread the light and to share and encourage my brethren. I ask that you use this video and for all the light workers, our videos, our ministries, and then spread them, multiply them, that they would encourage people who do not know about the light, who are looking for the light, who are looking for the newest revelation. Jehovah. So I just ask that you would help me to redeem the time for me and my brethren while we are on the earth, that we redeem the time, that we spend our time growing, resurrecting ourselves, overcoming ourselves. Jehovah, I ask, especially at a time like this, where we are in a world where the lower vibration is getting stronger and stronger. Jehovah, so for me and my brethren, I just ask that you strengthen us to finish the race. In your name, I give thanks and praise. So let it be. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. My name is Shaikwa Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel where I'm a brother. I'm a faithist. I'm going to move super fast because I got an 11-page study. 11-page study, man, that we are not going to get through. You already know that, right? Okay. You already know we ain't going to get through it. Now, what do I want to do now? I got on the screen the website. Now, how do I want to do this? Today is going to be a pretty interesting topic. I actually misworded it. What's a good word for mistakenly worded it, used the wrong word. Predates the OAHSPE proof. The OAHSPE predates all books, and it should be the OAHSPE is the primary source for all books, and I should have added in our day. The OAHSPE is the primary source, meaning it is the primary source for our day and age. I got a lot to read and to look at. I believe, I know in my heart, it will bless your soul. The studies that we do on this channel, I try to find things to talk about that interest us as the people of the Creator, meaning we are faithists, meaning we subscribe to the OAHSPE guidebook. Now, the OAHSPE is the newest revelation of the Creator. And let me see, I'm kind of discombobulated here. Trying to find my StreamYard. Where is it at? Did I click off on it by accident? I hope not. Okay, let me fix some things here on my screen. Brethren, bear with me if you would. Let me get some things fixed up here so I don't confuse myself. All right, now let's see if we can do this. Now, here's the OAHSPE right here. All right, the latest revelation from the Creator put out in the 1800s. Now, here's a link where you can get free, they'll send you a free OAHSPE. This link right here, the theeloists, if you want an OAHSPE and you're trying to learn more about the newest revelation from the Creator, here's the book right here. Now, the Unknown Many have put out a 6-volume set, that if me, you can also get it for free. It's a supplement to on a level where you can give it to a 4th grader, 5th grader, and they'll be able to understand what the OAHSPE talks about by subject matter. 6-volume set. Contact me in the video section, comment section. I got my link there. Contact me. I'll send it to you for free. Man. You know, that's the way of the Creator. You know, that's the kingdom, man. Capitalism is not in the kingdom, man. It's us working for one another. That's the new kingdom. That's the kingdom that's coming. People ain't used to that. Everything is profit, profit, profit. Gimme, gimme, gimme. The world is absolutely not ready for what's coming, the kingdom of the Creator. And it's being set up right now where he's tearing down. Go to the book of Judgment. I'm going to read a little bit from it if I get to it. Chapter 36, 37, the Creator will tell you what's happening to your face. But just like the OAHSPE says, man, you could tell somebody what's coming and they still will not prepare. A lot of what I'm going to talk about is really stuff that cannot be proven, really. Honestly, really cannot be proven, because we're in this reality where we use things that are not true to try to prove things that are true. Remember the example in the book of Tay where the angel told Tay, or he told somebody, whoever he was speaking to, write the number 10. And so that whoever it was wrote 10, T-E-N. And the angel, actually was a female angel. She said wrong. And then she wrote 10 lines. Remember that? Y'all remember that, right? In the OAHSPE? See, that's what we're up against. The subject matter of this video is really me trying to explain things that cannot be explained, because you cannot explain the spiritual using earthly methods. You can't do that right now. but I'm gonna give it my best shot, man. I misworded the title of the video. You cannot, the creator, he cannot even satisfy people's desire or people's questions about, you know, things like the topic matter that I'm getting into. People, they put the creator on trial, prove to me this, that, as if they're going to believe, which they really won't. You know, the OAHSPE, if you got that software plugged into you, installed into you, you're going to hear the creator's voice and you're going to walk away from everything, even if you've been under its influence all your life, like religion. That's the miracle of a faithist, man, you know. And here we are fighting this uphill battle against the whole world and winning hands down, in the sense that we are not going to, what's a good word for fall into unbelief? The creator, it's like when he gets a hold of you, you have no choice but to, I mean, the truth, when you hear this, the miracle of a faithist, man, it's like, it's hard to describe. Here we have the OAHSPE, right? It cannot be refuted if you would just take away the unbiased, the traditional thinking, the carnal thinking. You cannot refute it. And, you know, I better say this too. I'm getting way away from, you know, the creator. One thing I love, he does not give us permission to proselytize. He does not give us, and that's one thing I like. We don't sit around begging people to come into this. So I don't want to give that impression to anybody that I'm trying to beg people to become a faithist, beg people to read. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that, man. You know, I'm a brother, I'm a lowly brother, you know. I'm an imperfect brother, but I have found what I have been looking for all my life, man. And like the Bible says, I'm the only one, and you should be too. You brethren who listen to this, you should know nobody can really experience what you know in your own heart. When you know something is true, when you know, that's the beauty of this whole thing that we're under. We're here, we're sharing it, we're hoping and rooting for people to come into the light, but we cannot, for there ain't nothing that we can't, you know. I'm here to speak our language as faithists and to do what little I can to help us make the resurrection, which means to overcome the world, which means to do battle with the self, to overcome the self, man. You know, you don't need to come to this channel but one time. I'm gonna talk about the same thing over and over and over. I'm gonna just put different seasoning on it. Some days I'm gonna use a little curry, a little cumin, you know, on the vegan steak, you know. Some days a little red pepper, you know. That's all I do on this channel, man, you know. And the creator give you plenty of seasonings to use for how you choose to bring out this truth. Now, before I begin, a lot of people have been contacting me and really positive reviews about Dr. Kendall. Dr. Kendall, who came on earlier today, we did a test run trying to get the audio together. There were some bugs in it. We haven't worked it out yet, you know, but every Wednesday from now on, I'm going to start broadcasting the OAHSPE Bible's free conference call. Every Wednesday, I'm going to start broadcasting the free conference call that we have every Wednesday. And also, I would have broadcasted the angel recognition or the solstice celebration that they're going to have tomorrow. The solstice celebration that we're going to have tomorrow. I would have broadcasted that, but we didn't get the bugs worked out in time. So all our meetings, our Wednesday meeting and our celebration meetings, where we thank the angels for giving us this knowledge, for bringing us to this point. I'm going to start broadcasting it on my YouTube channel. And so we didn't get to the bugs. We did not get the bugs worked out today. We didn't, but I think I found a solution. Right when I clicked off everything, it's amazing. The Spirit said, Yaikwab, go on the internet and ask it, how do you get the bugs out of trying to stream pre-conference call on YouTube. And immediately, I think I got the answer. I have to get some headphones, and I also have to work with some settings before and that should solve the problem right there. I'm not technically savvy at all, but I'm going to try. So anyway, um, I'm every Wednesday. So also the video comment section of my video here, there's Brother Robert Bear's ministry on every Thursday where you can send him a link. You can send him an email and he'll send you a Zoom meeting link every Thursday, 5:00 my time. What is my time? Pacific Standard Time, where they have a Thursday meeting. They get together 40 minutes. They get together for 40 minutes, and then they do they ask what each wants to pray over, and then they write it down in the chat in the Zoom meeting, and then they pray over it using their voices, and they send it out into the atmosphere so that the angels can use it to empower the things that they pray about. Brother Robert Bear every Thursday. And then there's the Prison to Books ministry. There's a link in my description area where you can send books to prison. How do you like that? You can send books to prison, man. That is a hell of a good way to spread the light and to help people who are incarcerated. That's our calling, man. That's our calling, man, to lay that foundation, spread that light, do it selflessly, incognito if you can. So just some things, some suggestions for any brother who wants to try to redeem the time while we're in this reality, So when you sit and you really meditate and think, don't worry, man, the Creator will give you plenty of ideas, man, to redeem the time. All right, here's the website right here, Universal Faithists of Cosman. You can go to it for ministry and information. Here are the ministries that we have: meditation ministry, the healing basket, the conversations on every first, second, and third Wednesday. We want to do whatever we can to spread the knowledge of what the Creator is doing. And then the creed that I usually read of who we are, what we are, for anyone who is maybe new to this channel, to show you what we're all about. Faithists, we have faith in the all-person and collective wisdom that is without gender. We live by and follow these guidelines, inspired by the OAHSPE Bible and the work of John Newbro. We understand that supremacy exists only in a weak and fearful mind. We strive to do good works in the Creator's name. We respect others' opinions with understanding and openness, as long as their opinions do not diminish the dignity or free will of anyone. We're well from others with no bias. We treat others and ourselves with love and forgiveness. We are kind. It is easy to demand free will, but it is challenging to allow others to exercise their free will. We're able to admit our mistakes and take responsibility for our actions with these guidelines in mind. It is easier to understand that the foundation of faithism is a study and pursuit of Amarath and Ahiba. Amarath is divine forgiveness. Ahiba is unconditional love. For faithists, cultivation of Amarath and Ahiba are the soul growth. Many faithists adhere to a vegan diet to supremacy. All right, so that's the website right there where you can go for ministry and information. Here's the OAHSPE, where you can send that link, you can email them with this link right here, theeloists@gmail.com, if they'll send you a free OAHSPE. And then there's a 6-volume set for any brother or sister who, this is just a supplement to the OAHSPE to help. That brings me to the study. And I'm just not going to be able to get to all of it. I know I'm not going to, but that's okay. I'm going to do the best I can. And it's a difficult topic matter to tackle, because you're not going to satisfy people's, what's a good word for curiosity? You're not going to satisfy their criteria. You're not going to answer questions to their satisfaction about these type of topics. 1 second while I bring up the study. People put the creator on trial. The creator is on trial. He has got to meet he's got to prove himself to the satisfaction of people he created. I'm trying to fix the screen. Okay, now the title of the video, I should have made it the proof that the OAHSPE is the primary source of information before all books. And the Spirit was telling me to change the title Sunday night, and I didn't do it. I got too lazy. And the title of the video should have been proof the OAHSPE information, it predates all books, or is the primary source of information for all books. Something to that effect. That's what I should have changed it to. Because people will not accept using the OAHSPE to prove the OAHSPE. People won't accept that. So I can't help that. I can't help that. Now, the study is too long. I'm not going to be able to finish it. Today. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to finish it today. It's like 9 pages, this study right here, and I cover a lot of topics. Now, as I always say, the OAHSPE is the only hope for mankind. It's the only hope for mankind. It's revealed in our day because the time has come. That's why other spiritual books, the OAHSPE is superseding them. It supersedes them because we are in a different time right now. And changing times require changing information. The OAHSPE is the only hope. It's the only hope for mankind. It's the only hope for mankind. The only hope for mankind. So let's get into the study. The OAHSPE is the primary source of information for mankind in our day. It says, yes, OAHSPE explicitly presents itself as a new revelation. Now, a new revelation, you know what I mean? Let's say I tell you something you didn't know before. Would we not agree that that's a new revelation? That that's something new? That should make sense. A new revelation. How did we get to this point where we think nothing that spiritually, that if evolved is really a word and we studied it, wouldn't it mean progression, a constant progression? If you see a brother, let's say you see a friend that you knew in the 3rd grade, let's say, you see him, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at? You see him out on the street, you knew him in the 3rd grade, and then you see him again 30 years later, and you ask him, hey, what you been up to, man? He said, oh, man, I'm getting ready to graduate to the 4th grade. Now, would we not agree that we have a problem here? You know what I mean? Can we not agree that there is a problem here? Why can't we appeal to logic when we are determining whether or not the information is valid or not? Why can't we do that? You know what I mean? Isn't it logical that we grow physically and spiritually? Yes, OAHSPE explicitly presents itself as a new revelation or a new Bible for the current age. Here's exactly what makes it new according to the text itself. Now, I'm going to do a little editing while I'm going along here, so for future studies or purposes, and if anybody wants me to send you like a copy of the study, you can email me. I'll send it to you. So I'm going to do a little editing here while I'm going along, if you don't mind. Okay. It says, here's exactly what it makes it new, according to the text itself. See, that turns a lot of people off right there. The Creator is not allowed to testify of himself. So that kills a lot of people right there. They're not convinced. He doesn't meet their criteria, It is given for an entirely new era. The cosmic era, OAHSPE, declares that a major cosmic spiritual cycle changed around 1848. Now, the interesting thing, never mind, man, and I know that other faithist brothers, they've covered this subject, man, and I'm new to the game, and I know that they've already, they know this stuff like the back of their hand, and it's all new to me. It's all amazing to me, like this statement right here, spirituality changed around 1848. And then you research it and you see the explosion of spirituality and technology and information let you know that man has come into a new era, and the conceit that's in the world today is so strong. And the Creator, he said it was going to happen. He said, even amongst the great explosion of and advancements of technology and society, that conceit was going to trump all that. The conceit of man, meaning no matter what you show him, man, it's not going to register. It ain't going to register, only with a brother who's ready to be plugged in, brother or sister. Of faithist. It says this is the beginning of the cosmic era, the age of light, knowledge, and liberty. Previous revelations, Bible, Vedas, Quran, belong to earlier cycles called Danha periods. OAHSPE is the revelation specifically designed for this new cycle. It claims to be directed or dictated directly by Jehovah and high angels. Now, that's what I like. It's not saying throw away the Bible or the Vedas or the Quran. The Creator is not saying that. He's saying that the time has come for new revelation. That's all he's saying. He's not saying but he is saying read these things with understanding. I love to try to show on this channel here. I like to go to the Bible. I like to bring out the meaning according to the OAHSPE. You could translate the Bible through the OAHSPE. And I'm telling you, that's addicting. I'm telling you right now, man, if you start doing that, that will addict. You'll be all that. Do you know the sun will come up and then all of a sudden the sun will go down and it'll seem like 5 minutes to you because it's like a new toy. When you translate the Bible through the OAHSPE, it's like a new toy, man. I know I'm gonna burn out, stop making videos and stop, and maybe I shouldn't say that, but man, I hope that doesn't come for another 100 years. The way I feel now, it's a whole new world, man. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. You can translate the OAHSPE, you can translate the Bible through the OAHSPE. It's a whole nother door that's been opened up. The OAHSPE, it claims to be dictated directly by Jehovah and high angels. The entire book was covered through automatic writing, hands guided by angels over 50 weeks in 1880, 1881. Do you, brother, know that John Newbro, the guy who was channeled, was used to transcribe the OAHSPE? Do you know one time he lifted a ton? John Newbro, I forget where I read that, It might have been from Sister Martina's book. Matter of fact, that reminds me. I just bought her book. Let me show you. Well, I just bought her book called Field Guide to the Spirit World. Y'all ought to check that out, man. That shows you through empirical evidence, man, about the spirit world, realities of the spirit world. Sister Jamia recommended it. It is it is nice, man. It's called Field Guide to the Spirit World. Field Guide to the Spirit World. See, that's another thing too, man. There's a whole world opened up for you, brethren. You faithists. It's a money grab going on right now for faithists, man. Meaning the opportunity to spread light, to spread good works, to spread the knowledge of the people are in darkness. That prison ministry. I found a link where you could send the OAHSPE to prisons, man. Right there in my description area of the video. The OAHSPE, it is not written by a human prophet interpreting inspiration. It claims to be the direct words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. The subtitle of the book is A New Bible in the Words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. It corrects and it supersedes previous revelations. That's not going to go down well in the world. That's not going to go down well. It corrects and supersedes previous revelations. OAHSPE states that older sacred books were once pure but became corrupted. How? By false gods and druids, priests and kings, human additions and mistranslations. It therefore offers corrections, fuller explanations. Ain't that the truth? Is that not the truth? Fuller explanations. You know what I mean? Fuller explanation, and removes what it calls the interpolations of man. The interpolations of man. 4, it reveals new knowledge for the cosmic era. New knowledge. New knowledge. When something is the primary source, that means that it's revealing information that you have not known before. You know what I mean? Primary information that we have not known before. Does that not count for something? Is my food burning? Oh, I better turn. I'll be right back. I got to turn off my stove. Okay. It reveals new knowledge for the cosmic era, new teachings that were not emphasized or were hidden in previous books. You know what's interesting? Even when you read the Bible, y'all remember the Jesus Christ saying, I have many things to say to you, but you cannot receive them now. Does that not point to progressive revelation? Detailed cosmogony, creation through Simu, Vortexia, etc. Full structure. All I'm saying is show me the OAHSPE is the primary source of information that is particular to our day. I'm just saying what other books give the same information in detail that the OAHSPE gives. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there are other works out there that are primary for our day that show a progressive nature, the progressive nature of spirituality, growth of our spirituality. A lot of, from my own experience, a lot of the spiritual books that I have read, and I've read a lot, they are stagnant. they are stagnated, and the information, the substance is pretty much, it's pretty much after I have read it once, it doesn't have any ongoing substance to it, whereas the OAHSPE is alive. Every time you read it, you can feel like the first time. Now, I'm not trying to be harsh, man, you know? It's one of those things where your inner light, man, testifies what's the truth and what is not, man. Your own inner light, man. And the creator, he don't lay it out. From what I've seen, the creator, he don't give it to you. You know what's a good word for, to where where he just tell you everything. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like how the world wanted. You have to satisfy my curiosity. And then sometimes pride kicks in where you've explained enough to them and you've shown them enough, and then pride kicks in and it won't let a person just break and just receive, let them agree with you, But then again, I want to emphasize, as faithists, we not trying to really recruit anybody. I don't think I'm very good at that. And so I want to say it. The creator, that's one thing I love, man. Creators, he doesn't beg anybody to please. The creator's there. He's on his knees asking you, please read this, please come into. He's really not doing that. He says that we've been brought to the cosmic era. We should know. We don't need to be told, man, that this is not the end for us. That we transition into the spirit world, or the real life begins, where everybody knows that. Don't try to act like you don't know. The OAHSPE reveals the Danha cycles and how spiritual light comes to earth. It explains the role of Druge's first and second resurrection. The OAHSPE gives warnings about false gods and how they are overthrown. And that's something that I really, have you ever seen a man in the world, or a woman, or, somebody who's real slick? There are people in the world, man, who are real slick. You know that? They're good talkers. They're slick. There are people in the world who are gifted talkers. Can convince you, can deceive you. What make you think a false god cannot deceive a person? What do you think they're going to give us a book that says how to go to hell? You know what I mean? Is that what you think? Don't you think that they're going to give man a book? These gods are educated. They don't become a god without having some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Don't you think that they know that the way you're going to deceive a mortal, you have to give him a taste of things he don't know, talk to him about things, that spiritual things, and make it sound good, and then you got him right there. Now you got him. He's deceived. He's under your power now. Don't you think a false god is able to do that? Now you got these spiritual books. I'm telling you, man, they sound good. And I don't say throw out the baby with the bathwater. I'm saying, and the creator, he said these books, they were good for their time, that we have been given information sufficient for the age that we live in. We're just people trying to grow up, in our understanding, in our consciousness. We're trying to grow up, man, take off the self, take off the flesh, take off the vainglory, take off the narcissist mindset. We trying to learn how to do that, man, so that we can be ready for our kingdom, man, where there ain't no capitalism there. Oh, that reminds me right there. I'm sorry, man. I'm ready to offend some people. I am so sorry. I'm ready to offend my white brethren. I'm ready to offend y'all. I don't mean to, but I came across a video. I'm sorry, I got to stop the lesson for a second. Let me get myself together here. Let me fix the screen. I came across a video. I'm sorry. I'm going to offend my white brothers and sisters. I better not offend you, because you know that I'm not a racist. So if I offend you, man, you got the problem. I do not. I don't want to sound harsh, man. You got the problem, man. I do not have the problem. Now I'm sounding bold, ain't I? I got to find this video. I'm sorry. I'm going to take time until I find this. I'm going to take time until I find this video and share it with y'all. This brother here is a white man saying this stuff. I'm sorry, man. I've got to share this. He's a white man saying this stuff, and it knocked me flat out, man, because it helped me to see how our mindset was shaped. You brethren probably know of him. You brethren, you probably know of him. Let me see. Am I sharing this on the screen? Let's see. Where am I at? Okay. All right, here it is now, right here. Okay. Hey, let me find the let me see what video was I looking. Oh, there it is, right there. There it is, right there. Now I'm not going to play it, but I want to show it to you.
Okay, so I've talked about America.
Okay, here's the video right here. The video is called A Message to White People. Now, this is a white man talking right here. And he's a Muslim. And the reason why I'm sharing this video is because he tells you the deception that you are under, white people, the deception that you are under because of the culture that you were brought up with. Now, I'm sharing this video, man, so that to break the bondage that I know is still within. And actually, you know, this is really good for anybody. This video here is really good for any brother or sister, man, you know, because it shows you the depths of Satan in the sense that we live in a reality that we don't even have a clue. Well, how deep deception can go. I'm telling you, this will knock your socks off, man. This brother right here, and he's a Muslim. He's deceived. He's under a deity. He's under a false god. This is a white man here saying this stuff. So I urge white brothers and sisters to look at this because I'm surprised it even went out. It got out. The brother is under a deity, though. He doesn't even know he's under deception. But he certainly has some inner light, man, about the way of the world. He certainly got it. All right. Now, let me go back to the study. Let me go back into the study. Now, how do I get back to the study? Let's see. How? Okay, hold on. Let's get back to the study. And I ain't trying to offend anybody, man. I ain't got time for that, you know? So don't get all offended, man, you know? How do I get back to the study? You know, I'm not into that black white thing anymore, really. I'm not into that no more, man. So don't try it with me. Now, how do I get back to the study? Doggone it. See, I knew this was gonna happen. Let me see. Oh man, how do you get back to the study? Where's the study at? Okay. All right. All right, there we go. We got it. Okay, back to the study. See, let's move the screen over here. Oh, shoot, man. I turned off the stove, but what I'm burning is in the oven. How do you like that? Hold on. I got to turn the oven off. Man, it's a miracle I haven't burnt this apartment down. That's a miracle, man. You know? Okay. Name of the study is Why the OAHSPE is the Primary Source of Information for Our Day. It gives warnings about false gods and how they are overthrown. It emphasizes direct personal inspiration suis rather than priests or creeds. It presents a new social order, faithless communities for the new era. It shifts from faith in a book to living by inner light. That's our salvation right there, man. That is our salvation right there, man. That is salvation. That is our salvation, brother. That is your That's it right there. Your inner light, man. You go, because we brought up to trust in man. You know, we brought up man to trust in man. To what? We give undue influence to what other people say, how we should be, how it should go. And then at some point, you drown out the voice of the creator. You get to a point you don't even know how to be. I remember, what was that dude's name? Kevin Durant, man, the basketball player. Kevin Durant, man. He said one thing I really respected. He said one thing, a reporter asked him a question about life in the NBA. He said, hey, man, I'm up here trying to figure out how to be me. I'm still trying to figure out how to just be me. And what he meant by that is that when you're at that level and you got people pulling you left and right and you get tempted to act and be the way people want you to be. You know, that's life itself, man, where people, they want you to be, they like you like this or they like you like that. And then you end up putting a mask on and being the way they want you to be. And then before long, you don't even know yourself. And the creator is calling us back. He's saying, listen, what is your inner light? Live by it. You know, a lot of brethren, they can't even, it's so, the conscience is so seared over with a hot iron, they can't find it. You can't do no introspection. You don't know yourself, man. The OAHSPE, while it calls itself a new Bible, OAHSPE repeatedly says the highest authority is Jehovah's living presence within each person, not the book itself. This is a major shift from older religions that made their scripture the final authority. See there you go. There you go right there. The final authority, man. The Bible in the Negro community, the Bible, it's the final authority, man. There is no questioning it. There is no doubting. There's no refuting. The Negro community, man, that was the flavor the Bible had on it, man. It locked us. It mentally locked you down, brother. Kind of cruel to be kind. People mean well, man. And when you're in the bottom like that, man, you're struggling to survive. Anything that gives you hope, man, is hard to break with. You see what I mean? So you can't, the old folks, man, you can't fault them. Because the Bible, the OAHSPE came out in the 1800s. And it did help the foundation of Negro communities. All that we had to draw our strength from, So it was able to embed itself in our psyche, man. And it just goes back. It goes back, man, to the power of false gods, It goes back to the power of false gods, man, Trying to fix my screen here. What makes OAHSPE new? What makes it new is given for the cosmic era is direct dictation by Jehovah and high angels. It gives correction, fulfillment of older revelations, vast new cosmology, cycles, spirit world structure. Its emphasis is direct inspiration, suis over external authority. Now, I had began to look at the structure of Simu, and I wanted to study it to see how it is confirmed in modern science. I went down that path. And I broke off because of one thing that I read. It was something I read where the creator said that modern science is based on, It's based on, you cannot prove perfection by using imperfect symbols and signs. That's the struggle that the whole world is up against. We will not know as we are known until we actually experience it in our spiritual ourself. And it's the same with the world. It's the same with the world, man, and they just don't get it. You want the creator to answer to your satisfaction. And he's saying, if I did, it would make your brain pop, And but the world has got the creator on the witness stand questioning him. The defense, the prosecution is putting him, and the creator is just sitting there saying, it's not time for you to know to your satisfaction. Because if I told you, you would not understand it. But I've given you enough so that your inner light can vibrate with what I have revealed to you. See, that's the miracle of faith that's right there, That's the miracle of faith, man, that inner light. Just like the Bible says, the heart knows its own bitterness, and nobody intermeddles with this joy. Nobody intermeddles with the joy, man, of the higher light, I have to digress for a second, man. I still shake my head, Billy Carson, David Icke, and how now I think Billy Carson, he does a little more talking about glorious things, which is, I like that. But from what I understand, they are primarily shown the lower realms. David Icke, I looked at those two. I don't know how they cry. I think David Icke, I used to listen to him way back long time ago. He was interesting. He has the gift of originality, and he talked, way back then. And he has this ability to intrigue you. Until just a few weeks ago, I found out I came under the inspiration that he has only been shown the lower heavens, and that's all he can talk about. And I think I haven't looked at Billy Carson in depth, but I think he's under the same vibration. That is the incredible reality of the spiritual. If you're looking anywhere outside of the Creator, you won't get led to the Creator. You won't get led to Him, man. And all the knowledge that you have will sound good to you and other people. And you will see, it's the worst thing, man, to all of a sudden be shown something you missed. You know what I mean? It's happened to all of us, man. You would have bet your life. I remember, what was the name of that movie? What was the name? Y'all remember that movie, The Breakfast Club? Yeah, I think that was it, The Breakfast Club. Remember there was a scene in the movie where he said, "Are you willing to bet your life that remember the scene where he said he was talking to the wrestler dude, right? And he said, Are you willing to bet your life that what you said is true?" And then the dude said, "Yeah." And then he turned the paper around, and it did something. It proved the wrestler dude wrong. And then the other dude made like he had a gun and shot him. I mean, how you take your hand. And there's a spiritual principle in that men do not understand. We think we know it all. We think we know it all, man. I'm sure 2 + 2 is 4. I'm sure 10 is 10, you know? Man, in Jehovah's own words, as presented in OAHSPE, this is the new revelation. The OAHSPE is the new revelation because the old heavens have been removed and a new spiritual atmosphere descended upon the earth. Remember the video we did, the No Kings rally? That's one example right there. The No Kings. Brethren, do you know that was the spirit of the Creator? That was under the influence and spirit of the Creator, man. Imperfectly done, Remember the summer of love? That was another time of light falling, Remember? It was imperfectly done, free love, take your clothes off, But the spirit was unity, you know what I mean? The summer of love. No kings now. So how many years was it since the summer of love? Like 60 years, was it? I know that there's a numerical significance to it. I know that it is part of a pattern. I know it is because light falls in patterns. It falls in cycles and it's borne out by what the people do on the earth, either war or a great unity movement, that sort of thing, I would even say the civil rights was a time of light, It was people of all races and colors and backgrounds coming together for the rights of people who were oppressed and there were people who were less fortunate in that time of reality. Any movement like that, man, where it calls for the equality and brotherhood of man, you should know automatically, man, that's a time of light. And it's getting stronger, man, to where the elite, the well-to-do, the elite people under Drugian influence in the world, they see it. They know there's a groundswell. You know, I'm sorry, man. I have to digress for a second. We not out of the woods with what happened with that Middle East war and the cutoff of oil and gas. You know how when you turn something off, you don't feel the residual effects, man, until shortly afterwards. And even right now, the situation has turned back for the worse. They done shut down that damn Gulf again, man. They done shut it down again, man. So all this time, man, where we was already on a just-in-time schedule, all this time, man, even though we were already on you know what a just-in-time model is, schedule, economy is? That's where the pipeline gets to you just in time. Just in time, you know? And companies, they have a stockpiling model of, it's very thin, you know what I mean? For profit's sake, you know what I mean? That's to save money, you know, so they don't have waste, they have to throw things away. That's our reality. That's where we live, man. You know? That's the world, that's where we live. And so, my brethren, we have not by far gotten out of the woods with this reality. I don't like to talk about it a lot because it's not pretty. It's not pretty when resources start to become scarce. And I love the way the Creator tells faith is to do not let your soul be troubled, man. Now, I have to admit, that's hard to do sometimes, but I believe it. Do not let your soul be troubled. Don't let our soul be troubled, man. Like the world, when they see their resources running out. The Creator says, don't you, faithists, you know what I mean? Don't let your soul be troubled, man, you know? But can't any spiritual book say it's a new revelation? Can't any, you know, the OAHSPE ain't saying nothing. It ain't saying anything. Can't any book say that it's a new revelation? Hell, man, any book can say that. Yes, any spiritual book or person can claim to be a new revelation from Jehovah. OAHSPE itself acknowledges this reality and does not rely on the claim alone. It provides internal See, the OAHSPE, though, says, okay, yeah, you can say it if you want to, but it provides internal tests. See, that's where the OAHSPE separates itself. It provides internal tests and criteria for discerning whether a revelation is genuinely from Jehovah or from lower sources. See, the world cannot do that. They cannot do that. You know, a good proof is concerning the lack of discernment in the world. And I don't know if I can use this example. What I was going to say is that if we look at Donald Trump, we look at a man, he's obviously under Drugian influences, obviously. And he's a Gemini, so that means his mind, you're not going to corner him communications wise. He can spin a tale. You'll never catch him. His cabinet is Geminis. Marco Rubio, that's a Gemini. Pete Hegseth, that's a Gemini. You know, you will never catch J.D. Vance is a Leo, okay? But you will never catch the Secretary of State and the Minister of he calls it the Department of War. You will never catch them unable to answer any question in the world. The last one, you'll never catch a Gemini unable to respond. You'll never catch them. Their thing is communication. So we have a president who can talk with the best of them. You'll never catch him off. Them reporters, they have asked questions that would have caught another man, would have caught him cold, you know. But Trump, being a Gemini on his lower vibration, he can answer anything. He has quick recall. You know, Geminis are known for having minds of Mercury, you know, like quick thinkers and witty, you know. So, you know, the world cannot, and he can even fool Faithists too, you know, where he gets up there and he just talks and people believe, and so they elect him. And then he gets in office and his true colors come out. The inability to discern. So you can't do that with the Creator. You can't do that with the Creator. See, it says the OAHSPE, it provides internal tests. See, for Faithists, it give us internal tests when we have to size up a brother or sister. I have to be careful with that because people jump and say, you know, you can't judge and this and that. And I agree with you, you know, but we do learn from people by the things they do. We do line people up with the OAHSPE. I know, unconsciously even sometimes. The OAHSPE, it provides internal tests, see? And it should make sense, man, that we ought to have a foundation in which we can look at our reality and make conclusions about it. You know, that's one thing about the Creator. He don't just throw us out there, you know. We don't have nothing to base our to go on, you know, when reality is telling us one thing, when people are telling us one thing, when the government is telling us one thing, when people who rule over us is telling us one thing, and we don't know what to believe, you know, because we don't know anything. You know, the Creator doesn't leave us naked, man, you know. The OAHSPE, it provides internal tests and criteria for discerning whether a revelation is genuinely from Jehovah or from lower sources, vanity, druges, false gods, human invention. We should be able to have some inner light that will help us. That'll help us, man, you know. That will help us. It should make sense, man, you know. We got the template, we got the OAHSPE. The Creator is saying, you know, now we can protect ourselves. We can protect ourselves, man, you know, from druges, from, and you know what? In the OAHSPE, do you know that the Creator, he give examples of the druges? Remember, they come from the corners. They come from the northeast, the southeast, the southwest, and the northwest. The druges, they come from the corners. And then he gives the example of that brother and how he dealt with him. Now, see, that's one thing, man, you know. The world, man, you know. You know, I'm telling you, man, you know, deception, you know. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I'm trying to figure out how to say, man, when you're ignorant of the light, you're open to deception, right? That should make sense, man. You may be the greatest guy or girl on the earth. The greatest guy, and we meet people like that all the time in this reality, man. They are great people. They got a high spiritual grade, man. They selfless, you know. They seem to be free of tetracts, you know. But the first druja that come along, you know, wearing a suit and tie and speaking smooth and logically, and they agree, and then you see that You were deceived, my friend. You know, see, the world don't place no premium on deception. No premium, man. That's one of the major things about a faith. That's one of the major things, man. I'm telling you. You may not see it now, but we know good and well that there is a time. There is a time, man, when our discernment will mean everything in the world. I know. You can't tell me different. That's what keep us going. That's what keep us going, man. Every time you stop at a stoplight, you judge that, don't you? It's red, ain't it? Stop. You know, use discernment. Why can't the Creator help us to use, you know what I mean? I want to emphasize the OAHSPE. It provides internal tests, man. Internal tests to help us. You can't go to a faith that's talking about, look, man, my church is out of sight. It's changing lives. Why don't you come? We having a study this Friday. You ought to come in and check us out. You can't do that to a faithless anymore. OAHSPE's own answer to your question about the OAHSPE being a primary source for our day, and the angels in OAHSPE repeatedly warn against accepting any claim at face value. Key principles include there it is, discernment through suis. Opened spiritual senses is the highest standard. In the book of knowledge, te, meaning inquiring humanity, te, he represents inquiring humanity. Humanity as if they could talk to the Creator, the book of te. What would that conversation go like? That's the book of te. That's the picture that te gives, he's being used as. Te, which is inquiring humanity, refuses to accept even angelic testimony without personal knowing. I love that, man. Without personal knowing, man. The Creator said, he's saying, familiarize yourself with your inner light, because that's where the Creator is. That's where he is, man. That's where he is, that inner knowing, that personal knowing. Jehovah honors this independent spirit. Test by fruits, not by claims. Does it promote humility, good works, and resurrection? Does it promote humility, good works, and resurrection, or vanity and self-glory? Does it lead people toward direct intercommunion with Jehovah? Or toward dependence on a book or teacher? See, that's one thing right there where it's kind of like a fine line, man, because all we have to go off of is the OAHSPE right now. This is all we could point to, really, as our guidebook. We need a guide, man. We need something to keep us from going off the rails, off the road. And so I agree with this. The Creator, right now, we've been taught to look to our inner light, man. That will save us from the Druidian influence on man. That will save us, man. That will save us. And it'll make us able, we can walk all on our own. We can walk on our own, man. A faithless can walk on his own, man, because he has the inner light in him. So most of our reality is like people suspicious of one another, You hear a lot in this world, especially with this government here, man. Always talk. You know what? See, I'm sorry, man. We talk. It just get to you sometime that the way we talk in this reality and in the Western Hemisphere, how we talk, our thing, it seems like we need to win everything. It's like we treat everything like a baseball game, winner and loser. We're winning. All that matters is that we winning. Don't matter who we bombed and children that we have killed. We winning. Like they get up there and tell us, we killed so many people today. Like we want to hear it. Like we supposed to feel good. Like they actually believe that if the administration, and this goes back who knows how far, if they just get up there and say, oh, we killed so many people today, we bombed so many places today, we knocked down so many buildings, like you're supposed to feel good about that. That's why I say, look at that video, man. And that brother, I'm surprised he's alive, to be honest. Shaheed Bolson, that type of truth is not welcome in the world, and especially about the white man. How he's able, I don't know. I do not know, man. The only problem is he's under a deity himself. The OAHSPE, an internal test when dealing with spiritual books and spiritual information. Does it encourage freedom and light or control fear and division? And a lot of books encourage freedom and light. They encourage freedom and light. Timing and context matter. OAHSPE teaches that revelations are given according to the spiritual cycle, Danha. A revelation for the cosmic era must align with the new atmosphere of light, liberty, and knowledge. Not repeat old patterns of priesthood creeds or exclusivity. That's one difference. That's one way the OAHSPE separates itself. That's one way it separates itself. It breaks from tradition. The OAHSPE breaks. That's why it's a primary. It couldn't have come out during the time of the Ark of Bond. It could not have come out at that time because, the Ark of Bond, the Ark of Cephas, because the Creator was establishing religion so that men could learn morality. You can't start establishing religion and then you start tearing it down in the same arc cycle. You know what I mean? Okay, plan of the Creator is to get men to be moral, learn about the afterlife, and then 1 year after that, I'm going to bring the OAHSPE, and that's going to tear everything. Men ain't matured yet. It can't come out at that time. We got to grow up, man, and be ready for this information. See? A true revelation for the cosmic era, the true revelation for the cosmic era, it must align with the new atmosphere of light, liberty, and knowledge. It must align. Now we know that this ain't it. Our mortality, we know that now. We know a little bit about morality. We know how we should treat each other. We know we should break with materialism, Okay, now, what's the next thing? A true revelation for the cosmic era must align with the new, see, no King's rally. Not repeat old patterns of priesthood, creeds, or exclusivity. Warning against false claims. One way that the OAHSPE gives us internal light so that we can test the authenticity of the OAHSPE, the Creator. Warning against false claims. OAHSPE frequently speaks of Druges and false gods who pretend to be high beings and deliver new revelations to mislead people. The smoother it sounds, the greater the deception. The more it seems to call upon things that are right, the greater the power to deceive people. People, they turn off their discernment. They know that this is right. You don't need to say anything more. He's all for doing right. He's all for practicing righteousness. He's all for, the end of wrongdoing. That's it right there. Don't nothing else need to be said, Just follow him. He said that he's got the truth and he's the one that taught us. And so we can follow him. What's his name? Druja. Warning against false claims. OAHSPE frequently speaks of Drujas and false gods who pretend to be high beings and deliver new revelations to mislead people. And the easy way the Creator says to tell what inspiration an angel or a Drujan is under is whether, well, that's what we've been reading here. Do they lead to the Creator? Simple as that. Do they lead to the Creator or do they lead to themselves? Simple as that. The OAHSPE, it says that. Do they point you to the Creator or do they point to themselves? Simple as that, man. Now we know what the inspiration is. Now we know. And then do their fruits follow? Because people, their character can, if we live in a reality where people, their character can be bought with money, you know what I mean? Then what make you think that people's character, that a, Drujan cannot, can say whatever they influence a person to say? What make you think that they won't do it to mislead people? It says many such messages, new revelations, have appeared throughout history. Many such messages, false claims, have appeared throughout history. Bottom line, from OAHSPE's perspective. Bottom line, so we have a little summary of this part of the study. Jehovah would say, many will claim to speak in my name. See, you see the Bible in this, Bible gets a lot of its content from the OAHSPE, man, It gets a lot of its content. That's another miracle to me, The Bible gets a lot of its content from showing you that false gods, they drew on the knowledge of the pre-OAHSPE and implemented it in the Bible. You can tell by the language that you see. Many will claim, see, the Jesus of the New Testament, he said something similar to this. Many will claim to speak in my name, but you shall judge them by their fruits and light in your own soul. Your own soul. The mere claim, this is a new revelation from Jehovah, proves nothing. What matters is the content. Does it harmonize with Jehovah's character as a loving parent, non-coercive, encouraging personal growth? The effects on those who follow it. Does it produce resurrection, humility, and service? And your own inner confirmation through developed spiritual senses. Your own inner confirmation, man. You know how when you meet people, they put a vibe on you, You get, or at least I do. I don't know. I don't know how many people are like that. I know I get that. That is for sure, man. Sometimes, not every single, but some people have such a strong vibration one way or the other that it rubs off of them. This is why OAHSPE discourages blind faith in itself, man. Creator is saying, don't trust me, blindly. And he repeatedly points readers back to Jehovah's living presence rather than the book alone. His living presence. That's what the OAHSPE is helping us to identify, that living presence, within each of us. That's how far away we've gotten, man, at least in my case. And I actively try to learn. I am actively trying, man. I am trying to get in touch with my inner light. I am trying, and I just come under a lot of doubt, and a lot of suspicion and a lot of what I feel is coincidence, Just today, me and the doctor, we was trying to set up the audio. Was having all technical difficulties, and my mind was saying, man, it's a coincidence. And no, there's a spiritual element at play, man. There's a reason why when it come time for a high-powered brother like that, to come on and give a word. He was trying to give a word about, summarize the video. He's going to start coming on. I mean, through the Wednesday Bible study, when we get that figured out, every Wednesday, I'm going to start broadcasting the Wednesday Bible study and other things that they have too. Like Wednesday, they're having a service. They're having a service to, what is it? It's about the summer solstice. I'm going to start broadcasting them things. Not going to do it this Wednesday because I have not figured out the technical difficulties. We're going to have to get together and do it again. We're going to get together and do it again. And then when we get it figured out, I'm going to go online. But we had problems, and I just sat there saying, man, this seems like every time, you want to bring some strong light and understanding from a brother, it just never fails, It just never fails. So I should have put in conclusion. In conclusion. In conclusion. Yes, OAHSPE. Yes, according to OAHSPE. Jehovah would say that the OAHSPE is the primary source revelation for the world in the current cosmic era. In the current cosmic era. How OAHSPE presents itself. OAHSPE explicitly calls itself a new Bible in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. The revelation given specifically for the cosmic era, the present age of light that began around 1849. So, in conclusion, according to Jehovah, he would say that the OAHSPE is the primary source of revelation for the world in the current cosmic era, meaning there's more to come as we grow and as we're able to receive it. As we're able to receive it, we will get more revelation. Now, this is a long study, man. This is only page 4 of 12 pages. And I don't think I'm going to go through all of it because I have more stuff I want to read. No, the OAHSPE does not endorse specifically other complete spiritual books such as Tao Te Ching, Bhagavad Gita, Quran, etc. as recommended reading. It focuses on living by Jehovah's presence, good works, and inner inspiration rather than studying older texts. Practical advice in OAHSPE. Faithists are encouraged to study OAHSPE, seek direct communion with Jehovah, live principles of peace, charity, simplicity. Now, here's a study on the power of imagination. The power of imagination. The power of imagination according to the OAHSPE. The power of imagination according to the OAHSPE. The power of imagination. Matter of fact, let me see. Do I want to? I got others that I want to read. Do I want to do this today? I have other stuff that I want to read. Let me see. It's 6:30. I wanted to read this right here, judgment, because that is such a sweet breakdown of the way the Creator does things. That's a sweet, sweet breakdown, man, of how the Creator does things, all in a little chapter, a concise synopsis, man. I really wanted to get to that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read that, man. And then I'm gonna come back to this study. It's 6:30. I wanted to read this, man, a concise little reminder for us faithists, man, of how the Creator does things, how he does things in our current reality, and how he has done things in our current reality. Now, bear with me. That's another miracle about the OAHSPE, is the Creator. He can be so concise, man, in explaining things that he has done over thousands of years, man. Thousands, and it's understandable. It is so easy to understand, to see what it's all about, really what it's all about, how he's done, how he explains the invisible. Now, this is Book of Judgment. I wanted to draw from the Book of Judgment. I'm going to be reading from the Book of Judgment. Oh, okay. So now let's change the screen again. That's one of the miracles of the OAHSPE, is, the way the Creator, he can explain things in so simple language. Okay, there we go. All right, now let me make my way down to chapter 36. We're going to read, and then I'm going to go back to the study, and then close the video. Also, I guess I could take this time and say, towards the end of the video, if you want, you can type a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you want me to drop the link. I'll drop the link. And if you want to talk to me, then we can talk to each other about the study and the things we talked about. And okay, now the chapter 36 is super interesting, man, because the Creator, he just tells you, this is truly opening up the libraries of heaven. 36 and 37, the Creator tells you basically how he has brought about, really, his whole plan for man, his whole plan, past, present, and future. That's what it's all about. In a nutshell, he tells you what outside of our eyesight. He tells us the unseen, the invisible, what he does behind the scenes, why we are faithists, and some people are not, at least not while on the earth, but they will be. God says, behold the work of my hand, oh man. Now he's going to appeal to logic. As you find an old house no longer habitable, you send workmen to pull it down, and then you send laborers to clear away the rubbish, right? And then afterward, you bring builders. They lay a new foundation, larger and broader than the old one. Upon it, they build you a new edifice, adapted with new improvements for the increase and requirements of your family. People, they do that all the time, right? See a property, they may tear down the house, clear it away, build a new and bigger and better house in its place right there on the same property, right? Same thing. Even so has your God labored. The Ethereans for hundreds of years to prepare for the generations of this day. So we're the product of thousands of years of generations to bring us faithists to prepare the way for us to be on the red star today. We're a product of thousands of years of generations culminating in this day, and also in the future. The same thing is going on with people who will come afterwards. They will be prepared for the work that they have to do in helping to bring the kingdom on the earth. Right now, we are the people, you faithists right now, we are the people that have been elected and chosen to do our part in building the foundation in this day and age. Creator says, for I saw beforehand that man would circumscribe, he would globalize the earth, and that all nations and peoples of it would become known to one another. That's another prophecy of the OAHSPE, that global travel, there was going to be the breakdown of exclusive nations like China, right? 1971, I think, Nixon. And I also saw that in the coming time, which is now here, the old edifices of doctrines, creeds, and religions, including those of the Brahmins, Buddhists, Jews, Catholics, Christians, and Mohammedans, would not fulfill the requirements of man. They would have served their purpose to bring men to discipline, to morality, for knowledge of the spiritual. Okay, Creator saying, okay, now you've done your job. You finished your work. Brahmins, Buddhists, Jews, Catholics, Christians, Mohammedans. Now you've done what you can do, but you are not going to be able to meet the requirements of the cosmic era, where people are going to be ready for higher light. You can only stagnate them. Everybody knows what you're all about, your doctrines, and now people are going to outgrow that. You would not be able to fill the requirements, man. And now behold, oh man, the wisdom of Jehovah in his preparations. He had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into the sacred books of all of the said great religions purposely and with design, so as to make easy the work of your God. That's another thing that was a shock to me when I was a Hebrew Israelite, and then seeing the Bible getting torn down by who was those brothers on YouTube? The fifth, what are they called? The fifth, they're called the fifth what? The fifth dimension or something like that. And they did a scholarly work, man. They absolutely dissected the Bible. I mean, showing its flaws, its contradictions. I had never seen anything like that before. Never seen. I mean, here the Creator saying, yeah, I did that. I allowed great religions purposely with design. He said he had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into sacred books of all of the said great religions, purposely and with design, so as to make easy the work, make it easy, the work of your God. And when I saw the coming together of nations and peoples would require a new religious edifice, I perceived also that the old ones must be cleared away, right? Religion, old edifice. And behold, I, your God, went to work systemically inspiring man to accomplish that which man has now accomplished. I raised up scholars and infidels against these religions, inspiring them to attack the corruptions and contradictions in the sacred books of all these people. And that's exactly what's happening, man. The Bible is absolutely being torn to shreds. I mean, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater again, man. It's profitable. There's lots of knowledge and wisdom in the Bible. But what false gods don't want men to see are the contradictions, the flaws. That's what, and most people don't really dig like others in finding things that are problematic with spiritual works. And the Creator, He comes and helps us along and says, and tells man the purpose of, he redirects men's source of understanding to himself, no longer to any book, any religion. He just flips the whole thing on his head. He raises up scholars and infidels against these religions, inspiring them to attack the corruptions and contradictions in the sacred books of all these people. And in the same time that I sent infidels against the Jewish Bible, and in the same time that I sent infidels against the Jewish Bible, I sent infidels against the Hindu Bibles, against the doctrines of Brahma, Buddha, Ku, and against the Christians and Mohammedans. The whole edifice is being torn down. The whole edifice, without a leg to stand on, being cleared away. And I made the beginning of the work of these infidels and scholars to correspond with the discovering of Guatemala by Colombo. So right at the time that Colombo discovers America, what is that period of time? The Renaissance. The Renaissance. This is talking about the Renaissance. New thought, supposedly elevated thinking, men in their elevated the time of scholarliness, the Renaissance. Let's see. Now let's look at it. Let's do a little research. Let's test the OAHSPE. When did Columbus discover America? Okay, 1492, right? Okay, 1492. Okay. When did the Renaissance begin? Okay. Now, the Creator said they were contemporary with one another. Okay, now Columbus 1492, but the Renaissance was before that. It said the Renaissance began in Florence, Italy in the 14th century, around 1350. It says there is no single event that marks its start. Rather, it emerged gradually out of the late Middle Ages as a cultural movement driven by new humanist philosophies and the rediscovery of classical Greek and Roman texts. Okay. Now, the Middle Ages was a period in European history from the collapse of the Roman civilization in the 5th century to the period of the Renaissance, variously interpreted as beginning in the 13th, 14th, or 15th century. Okay, so we can credit the OAHSPE we can validate the OAHSPE. Okay, so it's not exact, but the time period is right on. The Creator said that for 300 years, corresponding with Columbo discovering America, he said that at that time, the work of the workman was going to begin to tear down the old establishment. And he was going to give a government to allow them to do so, right? So the Creator says, about the time of discovery of America by Columbo, he says, I kept them, these scholars. He says, these scholars and infidels, he said, he kept them at their work for 300 years. For 300 years, the Renaissance, the higher the time of elevated, evolved thinking, they were going to go on for 300 years, which was up to the time of the establishment of the Republic of Guatemala. Okay, so let me see. Do I get this right? Now, he said for 300 years, which was up to the time, so that means before, okay? So that was before. So let's look back again. Let's put it in order. Okay, now, when did the Renaissance begin? All right? The Renaissance. Okay, now they're saying 1350. Okay. Bingo. So that's before the time that Columbus discovered America, right? That's before the time, right? The Renaissance, approximately 1500, 1600. Okay. Now, Columbus discovered America in 1492. So before that, the Creator, he had the workmen, the infidels and the scholars at work, getting ready to tear down the old institutions of religion. He'd already been preparing them. Let's see, is that right? Is that correct? It says, and I made the beginning of the work of these infidels and scholars to correspond with, okay, so at the same time, roughly, correspond with discovery of Guatemala by Columbo. And he kept them at their work, which was up to the time of the establishment. So Columbus, he discovers America, and then you go on, and it wasn't established until, let's say, the Constitution, right? He says, the Creator says, he kept the infidels and the workmen at their work for 300 years, which is up to the time of the establishment of the Republic of Guatemala. Okay, so let's say up to the Constitution. So 1776, 300 years before that, you get what? 1476, right? So that's right. About the time that it fits. The Renaissance is, they go from 13, 14, 15, 16, okay, up until the time of the discovering of Guatemala in 1492 and the establishment of America. So it fits. The Creator, he fits. It fits here. The prophecy fits. It's contemporary. Columbus, before he discovered America, he started it, the Renaissance. The Creator started it. And then he said he kept them at their work from the time of 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th century up until the time of the establishment of the Republic of America, which I, your God, provided to be untrammeled. So the Creator says that the scholars, infidels, they're at their work. They're giving new thought to men, opening their minds, inviting them to open their minds and to think, question things. Republic of Guatemala, which I, your God, provided to be untrammeled. So he said, I'm going to give you a government that's going to let you be free thinkers, to question things, to think about things outside of any government or kingdom saying, no, you can't talk about that. You can't, Creator said, I'm going to give you a government that's going to allow you to say, speak, and say, whatever you want to do, whatever you want. After my workmen, the scholars and infidels, had thus undermined the old edifice, behold, I sent laborers under the name of merchants and traders to commence clearing away the rubbish. So now we got the money traders and spirituality, deities, churches, religion. It take a back seat to money. When money is involved, they don't want to hear nothing about closing shop on Sunday. You know what I mean? When it comes to profit, when it comes to making money, they going to come on the scene and say, hey, if you want a job, you better work on Sunday. You better work on that religious holiday. It was going to be part of tearing down the old edifice. It takes time, After my workmen, the infidels and the scholars and infidels had thus undermined the old edifice. See, the time of Cephas, it was long gone. The time of structure and enforcement, Cephas, remember the Ark of Cephas? And so to undermine something, it's kind of like let's weaken the foundation. After my workmen, the scholars and infidels, they undermined the old edifice. The Renaissance came. And behold, I sent laborers under the name of merchants and traders and to commence clearing away the rubbish. So now, you know what? I would like to ask AI to translate this so we can get a good, clear translation. I want to ask, let me see. I'm gonna ask AI to translate that. Let me see what it says. So we can get a good baby reading of what this is saying. A good, okay, it says, the chapter, Judgment chapter 30 says, God showeth how he hath wrought. Uses the metaphor of demolishing an old uninhabitable house. Okay, that's what we just read. Okay, it says it continues by describing how global trade and commerce, driven by profit motive, break down barriers between cultures and faith. See, when it comes to money, man, that trumps religion, That's what that verse is saying. It was going to all be part of tearing down the old edifice. When it come to money, we don't care nothing about no church, man. You better be there at 8 o'clock, ready. If you want to keep your house, then you decide if you want to sit there praying or that's what this verse is saying. This ties into the text narrative. The discovery of Guatemala, America by Colombo marks the start of this undermining process. So Columbus, the creator, is saying he began to start he was assigned to begin the tearing down of the old edifice. So it's like the creator was getting busy way back centuries ago to prepare us for this time that we're in right now. We should be fertile ground right now where people are saying, hey, I'm tired, man, of living under bondage and living under barely surviving and my bills and, and being evicted, man, and, trying to keep up, man. We're at a time now where people are perfectly prepared for the end of all that, man. Discovery of Guatemala, America by Colombo marks the start of this undermining process leading toward a republic. Now, I think they got this wrong here. Well, wait a minute. Okay, let's look at it. Leading toward a republic untrammeled by an established religion. Okay, leading toward. Okay, meaning that Columbus comes and eventually is going to set up a government to where people are going to be able to, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Okay, so we can buy that. That his coming it marked the start of the undermining of the old edifice, where eventually the old edifice is going to be completely torn down. Scholars and infidels, enlightened thinkers, critics, scientists, skeptics who expose flaws in traditional scriptures, Bible, Vedas, merchants and traders, colonial commerce, global trade, capitalism, which pragmatically ignore, see, they ignore religious differences and mix people's cultures. Like, you better work with this Buddhist. You better work with this Muslim. You better work with this Christian. You better work with this Catholic. You better. So, hey, I don't care if you are Protestant or Methodist. You better you both better work together. See, and after the Creator is saying that was his way of breaking down the old edifice and differences and exclusivity. See, the old edifice refers to major organized religions: Brahmanism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Mohammedanism, seen as outdated for the new era. See, no kings rally, no people. They tired of this, this bondage, this restriction, this exclusivity, this, what has the fruit of this brought us, this religion, these organized major, we still got war in the world. We got the killing, we got the bondage, we got the material. Where's the power, man? Where is the power where people can live amongst one another and live on the earth in equity and harmony and peace with one another? Where is that at, man? These good religions with these good characters, and where is it then? OAHSPE views this as a divine providence. Destruction of the old makes room for cosmic, where we are now, cosmic era. A higher, rational, peaceful spirituality, emphasizing brotherhood, science, direct connection to the Creator without priests or dogmas. Okay? So, beautiful, beautiful rendition of the verse 36:12. After my workmen, the scholars and infidels, had thus undermined the old edifice, behold, I sent laborers under the name of merchants and traders to commence clearing away, start clearing away the rubbish, to start. So this has been a work in progress for hundreds of years now. And because of their desires and money getting, they did not consider, we just said that, did not consider religious edifice of any people. And they provided comity, meaning political, courteous, respectful toward the other persons. They deferred to one another for the sake of money. Comity, courteous, respectful toward the other person's laws and customs and institutions, civil, cordial, polite, agreeable, friendly, affable, warm, inviting, welcome. Political relations, wherever they went. The Creator says he inspired that to break down the old edifice. People getting together because of the sake of money. Money make you act right, in this world. You know what I mean? For 100 years, these my laborers have been at their work. Hundreds of years, these my laborers have been stripping off, clearing away the prejudice of nations and peoples against one another. And then behold, I came with my builders. Here come the Faithists. Here come the Faithists, man. Here they come. Here come the Faithists. Now, then behold, I came with my builders. Here they come, the Faithists. And I prepared a new foundation, broader, firmer, more open, for an edifice adapted to all the nations and people of the world. See, here come the Faithists now. See, tearing down. We're going to, now, the foundation. In construction, they have people, they come, they clear away the foundation. I remember I used to do construction, and we would grade the land. You move the dirt, you grade the land, and then you're ready for the foundation, the steel workers, the concrete layers to come in, the construction workers, the crew that I was with, they worked with the dirt, man. They clear it, they grade it, they level it, and then they move out the way, and then the other crew come in, they lay the concrete, then the steel, and then the siding, and the process. Now here come the faiths. And then behold, okay, so now it's 7:00. I'm getting ready to end the study. And type a 1 in the chat if you want me to drop the link. If you have anything you want to share, you want to say or talk or offer anything. It's 7:00 in a half hour. I'm going to close the video. I'm going to close the study before that. I'm going to go into the chat. And, we'll pick it up there if you want to. It says, and then behold, I came with my builders, and I prepared a new foundation, broader, firmer. See, faiths, there's the builder. Here come the builders. And then behold, I came with my builders, and I prepared a new foundation, faithism, broader, firmer, more open, for the edifice adapted to all the nations and peoples in the world. First, 1848, I sent my miracle workers forth into every quarter, saying to them, whatever was done by the ancient gods and saviors, do likewise, and greater. For I will show the entire world that no man or God is worthy to be worshipped because of miracles. And they went forth at my command, and my angels went with them, doing wonders. They healed the sick by laying on of hands. They restored the blind to sight, made the deaf to hear, and have brought the supposed dead to life. See, the miracle workers now. See, the first set of brethren. Well, wait a minute. I stand corrected, because just because they were miracle workers, it don't mean they were faithists. That don't mean that they were worshipers of the Creator, from what I understand. Did you know that? Just because that they were used in such a manner, it doesn't mean that they were, from the studies I've done, it doesn't mean that they were faithists, actually. But they contributed to spirituality. They contributed. I'll give you an example as I go on here. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about as I go on. It says, they have caused writing to come on stone tablets and on paper, and they have caused writing, these miracle workers. See, the Creator, 1848 on, the Creator he's allowing these things now, so people start to, hey, man, the spiritual is for real, So these miracle workers, they have caused writing to come on stone tablets and on paper in the light of day by unseen hands. See, we call these miracles. They have caused ponderous bodies without mortal contact to move and to beat time to music. Y'all ever seen that? Have y'all ever seen that garden in Florida that man built? It's a miracle. Have y'all ever seen let me see, what's the name of it? What is the name of the stone garden in Florida that the man built and nobody knows how? Coral Castle. Coral Castle. See? Have y'all ever seen this? One dude built this, man. Look at that. In Florida, one man secretly built an entire stone castle out of a broken heart, man. His woman didn't want him. He said he understood the secrets. He understood some secrets. See? He understood Coral Castle. Big stone doors that you could push open with a finger. This is the dude right here. Look at that dude, man. He looked like he could barely lift an ice cube. This dude right here built this. He built this. Look at him. You could punch a hole in him. A stiff wind, man, would blow him into the moon. Look at that little dude, man. And he built this. Look at this dude. Look. doors that swing open, big stone doors, you know. He built all of this, man. He said his woman let him down. And that was the inspiration. Well, okay, I can't show everything. But check it out, man. It show you really spiritual. It show you really Ethereal power. That's Ethereal power, man, really. You know, that's all that really is. Look at that. They have caused ponderous bodies, these miracle workers that the Creator is sending as part of his plan to tear down the old edifice of tradition and religion. They have caused ponderous bodies to move without mortal contact, to move in the beat time of music. A child has lifted 8 full-grown men with her little finger. You know who this is talking about? Do y'all know who this is talking about? Check this out. And she wasn't a faithist. I don't think she was a faithist. Because she attributed her power to something else. Or do you know who this is talking about here? Check it out. Check this out. Lulu Hurst. Lulu Hurst, man. So what's the big deal with her? What's the big deal with Lulu Hurst? Check it out. They still can't explain the strength of a Georgia teenage girl. They still can't explain the strength of a Georgia teenage girl. Lulu Hurst was different. Her parents said the West Georgia girl had changed after being struck by lightning at age 14. Here she is lifting 3 men. Georgia teen sensation Lulu Hurst demonstrates how to lift 3 men in a chair. See, this is Ethereal power. Just a little taste, man. That's when strange things begin to happen, according to her family. Sometimes sparks would crackle from her body. They said sometimes umbrellas would pop open. Sometimes things would fly around the room. Mostly, however, Lulu Hurst amazed everyone with her physical strength and ability to push strong men around a public stage. She would challenge the audience, and they would come up. They would come, big men, strong men, even a team of male gymnasts, and she would push them around like overweight pillows. Usually she did this while giggling, earning the nickname Laughing Lulu. In 1884, they brought Lulu to Augusta to the medical college where its experts could offer no answers. See, men cannot get spiritual truth out of corporeal things. Corporeal things. The same thing happened at Mercer University, which also examined her and reached the same conclusion. They could not explain how she did what she did. You know, and I have to admit, I'm just not even too surprised. You can read the rest of this if you want to, about this is the fulfillment, really, of this verse right here, really. And I don't think not the only fulfillment. And I read that story about it was called the 22 Lives of Billy Milligan or something. Even before I got Dr. Martinez's book, I talked to her. She said it was okay for me to share it. And she reminded me of a book I read when I was a teenager in high school, man. It's called The 22 Lives of Billy Milligan. Have y'all heard about him? And these people are just people that were publicized. you got to know there's way more people that the creator he raised up and showed to the world as a small taste of Ethereum power. He talking about Ethereum power here, man. See, we don't know about this stuff. You know, Billy Milligan, man. This dude once smashed a toilet with his bare hands. Possession. Billy Milligan, 22 personalities. Once with his bare hands, man, the dude smashed the toilet. You know, I remember reading that book, The Minds of Billy Milligan. Yeah. Yep. And there's all kind of stories like this. I think this was at when I first began to learn about spirituality. But now I'm not surprised in anything I hear. I'm no longer surprised, you know. And really, they showing you spiritual power. You know what I mean? This dude had 22 personalities, you know. Billy Milligan. So anyway, I'm about at the end of the study. They have passed full-blown flowers and plants through board, talking about what went on in the beginning of Cosmic Era, the miracle workers that the Creator raised up. They have passed full-blown flowers and plants through boards and tables, unbruised and uninjured, and yet there was neither hole nor opening in the boards and tables. They have made stars of light that spoke with audible voices. They have made pillars of fire by night and pillars of cloud by any day. Sound like Genesis chapter, what is that, the Exodus? They have caused the spirits of the dead to appear as if in flesh and blood, and while thus appearing, talk face to face with their mortal kin, who saw them and heard them, and by subject of the discourse proved to them to be the very angels of heaven, returned to their earth kin and friends. For the time of one generation, your God has kept open the gates. For one generation, he kept the gates of heaven open, working through mortals by angels of heaven. So he did it for one generation, showing these things. My testimony and my witnesses are hundreds of thousands. I do not hide the work of my hand and my angels in a corner. I extend them abroad over the earth. I manifest in the cities and the country places. I prove to all peoples that common rich men and women can do the miracles for which gods and saviors have been worshipped. Yes, I gave these powers to good and bad men and to good and bad women. For I know I show miracles in order to break down the worship of miracle workers. For I will have none worship but Jehovah. For I will have none worship but for Jehovah, and I have inspired angels to this end, and to the end that God works good works and wisdom, good works and wisdom, good works and wisdom shall be from this time forward the means of resurrection in heaven. And I've shown also that only by harmony and union of many can any great good come to the generations of men. So there you have it, man. Until we learn that lesson, we're going to learn it. We're already in the process. We're already in the process. So now I can go to the room. That will conclude the study for today. Let me go to the room and see what's going on there. Brethren, good to see you. Let me read the chats and greet everybody. Black Political News Network, brother. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Brother Dwayne Shink. Oh, Black God of Israel. I remember you from a long time ago, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see Dwayne. Also, Holly was in here. Sister, she's going to have a sewing business in the spiritual. Elijah was in here. And the hurricane was in here. Brother Durrell, he won't come on because he's too big for this channel. I don't know if he in here. Good to see you though, bro. Let me see. He said, as FOMA was explaining that corporality are just representations. Yeah. I like that. See, he drops a little word, man. and it's an explosion. Esfoma was explaining that corporeality. Yeah, how do you like that, man? Isn't that something? Esfoma, meaning that which is in the air, Esfoma, was explaining that corporeality are just representations of the unseen. Corporeality are just representations of the unseen. That's a nice, simple explanation. Brother Bishop was in here. Tabitha, sister. Good to see you, Tabitha. Sharice, how you children doing, Sharice? How's your children doing? See, Tabitha said, yes, many of us read Sister, or I think you mean Susan Martinez. Yes, many of us have read Dr. Martinez's book. She really explains so much of the spirit behavior to us. She came on Cosmic Cow Chat once. All right. And it looks like I'm coming to the end here. Brother Elijah was in here. Let's see. Oh, Brian Jogi, brother. Good to see you, man. He says somebody be coming with it, though. I don't know who he talking about. He be coming with it, though. Let me see. Oh. Brother Shaheed Bolson. Yeah. Yeah, that video, man. All right, Jamia was in here. She was the one that recommended that book. All right, Tabitha. So I think I covered. Let me see. Let's see. Tabitha said something. She said, I don't feel the resources are really running out. I could be wrong, but I believe the powers that be is controlling the trade markets. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, Tabitha. We're going to find out. And we're in the situation. I think she's talking about the situation with the oil and gas, the disruption of oil and gas in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to find out, ain't we? We're going to find out. That's all I'm saying. It began in February. The way that the structure is set up is things arrive just in time. There can't be any disruption, man. If there's any disruption, then it plays out in if there's any disruption in the oil and gas pipeline to the world, then it plays out in shortage of resources. And if you look at how many byproducts are made by oil and gas, that means the coming months, I don't even want to say what analysts, I tried to study these things so I could run and tell you, brethren. Now, I don't say this, faithists we are called not to give in to fear and unbelief. And I'm with that. I'm thoroughly with that, The foundation that the Creator, He gave us, we should have left the world a long time ago, man. We should have left the world, a faithist should have left the world a long time ago, man, except for people who are new. To where what happens to the world, we don't look at the world, man. We look at the Creator. I'm just saying that what we are going to witness is what I call your attention to. And I think that it's going to testify of the OAHSPE and faithists. I mean a testimony to the world. Now, I could be wrong, but we're going to find out, ain't we? So let's see. Brother Prince, he was in here. He said, we're perpetual judges, but not yeah, right. That's right. That's good explanation. Let's see. Tabitha said, I can agree with that, Prince Judah. We are perpetual judges. So good to see you, Prince. Tabitha says, if you don't learn to judge people in situations, we will continually become, the Creator, that's one thing. I don't think He calls us to be walking around, like everything is okay. We don't know nothing. Anything you do or say is okay. Don't worry, don't think about it. Everything is all right, and I don't get that in the OAHSPE. I just don't get it, man. I don't see that. Okay, let me see. Tabitha said, from the moment I began to understand OAHSPE Bible, I totally stopped believing in the term first world countries. Oh, third. Oh, okay. Yeah. First world, third world. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's just a corporal, description. All right, so let's see. I think coming to the end here. Yeah, Dwayne, he said Lulu had, so he knows about Lulu Hurst. There are people like that all over, They testify, man, the spiritual world is not the physical world, man. Oh, okay. Thanks for the link, Lulu Hurst. Let me see. Elijah, I don't know if you're still in here. You said, was that live earlier you did? Yaquab, the Wednesday studies. I don't know what you talked about, the live I did earlier. You mean today? I was testing the setup with Dr. Kendall for the Zoom, for the free conference call on Wednesday. I was testing the setup. It didn't go well because I couldn't figure out the technical. We had technical difficulties. I couldn't figure it out. I think I might have. We're gonna do it again at another time. But that was a test run. So I'm gonna start broadcasting the Wednesday study. So, and when they do observances, like they doing the Sunday solace, the Sunday or summer solstice tomorrow. They doing the summer solstice. It's good for us to observe those type of things. It's good for us to observe those type of things. So I'm gonna start broadcasting it on Wednesday as soon as I get the technical issues figured out. So, okay, I've come to the end of the chat. I've addressed everybody. Thank you for joining me, brethren. Check out the video comment section. I'm really pushing Prisons for Books, man. That one brother, the Spirit even reminded me to try to send one to him, man. What's his name? What's his name? Carmelo Anthony. So I'm trying to find out where he's incarcerated and send those books to. Well, I've already got a plan. Matter of fact, I wasn't even planning on saying anything. I gave myself away. But the Prisons for Books program is a great idea, man, where really it's an incognito work that you can do, man, and nobody has to know anything. It's just between you and the creator, man. And Brother Kendall, he's got an orphanage too, or he's starting an orphanage too. This brother, he is got some projects and nobody helps and support him. I don't say it to make you feel bad, I'm not trying to, but I'm saying that's the plight of a faithist, And the angels for years, they have labored to raise us up. And chances are we don't thank them, or that's just the way we are. We don't consider to what they have done to acknowledge them. It's like that's just the way we are. But when you learn, you can start. I'm afraid I have burned my beans. I am afraid, man. I am afraid. So nobody wants to come on. Good enough. I can end the video now. So, brethren, thank you for joining me. I want to direct your attention to the description area. If there's brother or sister and you're in need of charity, you can contact me. Remember the 6-volume set and the link for a free OAHSPE if you're a little short, and just get in contact me or contact the theeloists. And remember the link for the Universal Faithists of Cosmin. You can go there. You can donate to them too. Let's support one another, man. Brethren, thank you for joining me. Jehovah, thank you for this lesson. Thank you for my brethren. We realize that we're in a situation, Jehovah. And I don't think I'm asking to avoid what you have planned for us, but just that you give us wisdom to go through whatever it is. That our faith not fail. that we learn to sow to the Spirit, Jehovah. For our family and loved ones, we pray for the light to spread. Jehovah, I acknowledge the angels who have brought us to this point and thank them. And thank you for impressing upon us to redeem the time while we're on the earth, Jehovah. In your name, we give thanks and praise. So let it be. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. And until I see you again Friday, Creator willing, same bat time, same bat channel, I will see you then. And until then, peace be unto you. Shalom.